really weird song if I put it. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to class day. Can you guys see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are we live? I don't know. Can anybody see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Usually somebody says they can see me. Can you see me? Can you see me? I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm going to try to reach out to Alexis to see if there's a problem. Let's see. Can you guys see me okay? Okay. Okay, so you guys can see me. Alexa says, but your comments are not going through. So I can't see the chat. And the chat is not up to date either. Can you let Claire know? And Dave, question mark. So Alexis, if you can hear me, I'm also asking you to please let Claire and Dave know. I'm also chatting with Dave. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the chat fixed because obviously without a chat, it would be very weird to have this class and just have me go do. Let's see, I'm trying to refresh the chat. That is not working. Let me see what they're going to recommend that I do. Anyway, well, hello and welcome to session 4 of Soul Shift. I think you can see me and I can't see you. So I'm going to talk for a couple minutes until somebody shows me how to fix this. So we are crafting today, and I wanted to leave a little time for Q&A and kind of do a check-in. You know, the nice thing about our crafting session is the last session of the month, and the teaching this month has been so intense, right, with Persephone and Demeter, and really trying to understand how you can, you know, be doing your shadow work and transforming your shadow. I think this is them. Hold on. Hello? Okay. Is your dad on the call right now? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so Nick is coming in, and we think that he'll be able to fix this for us. Hello, darling. My chat isn't working.
It seems to be working.
Nope, it sure is
Can I
not.
move this out of the way, please?
You can, yeah. Tech support.
That shit's going on.
I don't know, you're gonna fix it for me. It's so nice.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Say hi to Nick, everybody.
Hi. So your
Okay.
chat's not working?
No,
It also it says no viewers, too.
it always says no viewers.
Okay. Yeah. It also doesn't say you're live here. Where are you live to?
Soul Shift?
Oh,
It's
so you're not, you're in
unlisted, yeah.
Facebook.
No, I'm on YouTube.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, so. But it also does not say you're live on here.
This is not my area of expertise.
No, this is mine, but
I know.
it also does not say you're live here.
Okay.
Are you live to a different channel?
No.
That's weird. I'm gonna go over here.
Okay. Let me see if Claire is responding.
Yeah, because.
Buddy sightseeing out there?
Say hi to everybody. I'm live right now.
Hi.
You've got the whole family with you, and I can't see the chat.
I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
That's cool.
I think your dad's gonna jump in and do something.
Yeah, I don't think you're even live.
Yeah, because they can see me. Alexis told me they can see me. They just can't. The chat isn't working.
Wait.
See, that's the chat, but it's delayed.
Have
Still-
you
it's still delayed.
Have you got the have you turned off the Wi-Fi and turned it back on?
That's scary.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything.
Okay, so we'll see if your dad can.
It doesn't even say you're live.
Okay, so just so you guys know, Dave is trying to sort this. I can't get a hold of Claire either, so we're just trying to. I don't exactly know what's happening, so I'm just gonna talk. Claire, if you can help, that'd be great. Can you guys close the door for me? Or if Dave can help, that would be great. I'm here just with the kids, so my capacity to do more than I'm doing is unfortunately limited. So I'm just going to keep teaching, and if Dave and Claire can sort this, that'll be great, and hopefully I'll be able to see your comments, and we'll be able to do everything that we need to do. Okay. So session 4 is in motion and in progress. I'm going to ring my bell and welcome you in. I want to remind you as we get started tonight, again, assuming you can see me, every month my team makes full moon worksheets. I think most of you have downloaded yours. I saw a lot of your names on the download list. But if you have not been to sagegoddess.com today, this is free, and we make this to really help you prepare for the full moon and the new moon too. We make one for the full moon and one for the new moon. So this is for tomorrow night's full moon in Aries. The moon actually goes full at 2:05 p.m. Pacific time, even though we're not going to be together till 6. But these are the stones: tiger's eye carnelian, rutilated quartz, the herbs, basil and grapefruit, the oils, frankincense, and cinnamon. And then it has journal questions on the back for you to answer to help prepare you for the full moon. So if you haven't gotten your full moon worksheet yet, that is available for you at sagegoddess.com. Okay, let me refresh my chat. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else I can do here. Live chat, refresh chat. No, unfortunately, it's not working. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to, I don't know if you're there, Claire, but I'm trying to correspond with Dave, and I can't. I'm just letting him know that I can't. I refreshed my chat, and I've hit live chat, and I still can't see anything. So I'm going to keep on talking until you guys text me and tell me not to talk anymore. Maybe that'll be fun. We won't get distracted. Although I really did want to spend some time in Q&A with you today and really see what's on your mind. So I am hoping that we can get the chat working, because I would really like to hear what's on your mind. So tonight we are perfuming, and I'm going to be teaching you the art of perfuming the way I was taught. It looks like maybe it's working. Do you see me? I see you. Okay, good. It's moving now. Yeah, I think it was a YouTube chat issue. I don't think it's a YouTube issue. I see you. So I see Janine, Angela, and I see, yep. Okay, do you guys see me too? Can you just comment and say, yes, I see you, and I see you holding up the perfume sheet. We're doing our best here. Can you see me too, Angela and Janine and Andrea and Carolyn? Can you guys see me too? Okay, good. It looks right to me. I see them now. And you guys see me now too, right? Okay, good. Karen McAfee sees me, Annette sees me, Tina sees me. The chat's not moving, but at least we have the capacity to see each other. So please keep commenting. That's how I'll know that the feed is working. Okay. Yeah, my chat is still not working accurately. Not exactly sure what to do. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going and we'll do the best we can. So this is the way I was taught. And I was taught perfuming by a really sweet soul who was part of an aromatherapy program that my mom took when I was 18, almost 19 years old. My mom, I've told this story many times, but my mom is an esthetician. She is a hair stylist, or was, before she retired, and really a powerful skincare expert. My mom was really passionate about skincare, and so everything I know really about skincare and hair care and all of that comes from my mom. I tried to be a good student over the years. So when it came time for my mom to renew her license 1 year to do that, she did some professional development classes in aromatherapy, and she invited me to kind of go and be a fly on the wall. And so I did. I took those classes with her, and there was a woman who came and taught perfuming, and it was really funny because, and I've told you this story before, my mom was like kind of into it, but it wasn't really her absolute passion. I, however, felt like my entire life had changed when I learned about aromatherapy. Let me just see if Dave is telling me to do anything else. Okay. So I had really felt like I found my calling when I took those courses in aromatherapy. So this is how we were taught. We made this worksheet for SG, kind of based on that, and it's a very traditional scent pyramid. You can find different iterations of this on Google. This is, like I said, this is our version. And because the woman that I learned from had been trained in France, I even used the traditional French words. So in English, we talk about top notes, middle notes, and bottom notes of fragrance. You've probably heard that, right? Like the top note is the thing, when you open that bottle in the department store, the top note is the thing that like jumps out at you. The middle note is what we call the heart note, because that's what they call it in French. Le note du cœur, right? It's the notes of the heart. And that is the body of the fragrance. So after the first 5 minutes, if it's an alcohol-based perfume, after the alcohol dissipates, what you end up with after that, the second experience of the fragrance, is called the heart note, or the center note. Some people call it the body of the fragrance, right? The head, the body, and the feet of the fragrance, or the heart. The head notes, le note de tête, which is the head notes, le note de cœur, which is the heart notes, and le note de fond, which is the base notes, or the foundational notes. So a good perfume has a top note, a middle note, and a base note at a minimum. All good perfumes have at least, and I'm just trying to refresh because I still can't see your comments. I really am trying to see you, but I don't know that we're going to be able to get it fixed for today. Okay, so a really good perfume should have 3 notes in it. A lot of the Sage Goddess perfumes that I make have more than that. But I will tell you something, when you're making perfume, adding more than 3 notes requires some skill, some artistry, because you have to know whether you're adding an additional top note, heart note, or base note. If you add multiple additional top notes, it's not really going to change your fragrance all that much because the top notes dissipate very quickly. And so on the sheet here, I've kind of listed out, and I don't know if you're able to share this graphic with them, Alexis, or if you already did. I don't know if you did share it with them, but I would like to share this with them. The top notes tend to also be kind of the sharper, cleaner notes too. So some of the top notes include lemon, orange, grapefruit, peppermint, spearmint, sage, lime, eucalyptus, geranium, lavender, petitgrain, surfleur, tea tree, rosemary, cashput, and then tangerine, which is in the mix of oils. Okay, good. The chat's working again. Never a dull moment, y'all. Yeah, Alexis will post it in your Facebook group so that you have it. Yeah, we'll give it to you. So don't worry. I don't want you to, we always take notes for you, so I don't want you to scramble to try and find it or anything. We will post it for you. This will all be in your notes. So just sit back, relax, enjoy. I'm so glad I can see your comments again. Whew. I really don't like not being able to, I mean, I can't see your face. So if I don't have your comments, then I feel sad. I at least need your words. Okay, good. I'm so glad it's working too. So of all of the notes I gave you tonight, because remember you have your 2 original oils that are kind of like your tools for the month, which is your birch tar and your white pepper. Those are part of your Persephone perfume for the month and your Demeter, right? That's kind of the energy of mothering and birthing and rebirthing. So we'll talk about those notes in a minute. And then the additional perfumes that I gave you 3 little drams too. I love these little, they're called third drams. I gave you lavender, which is also a top note. Call it head note. Again, sharper notes tend to be top notes. Then I gave you champaka, which is my favorite heart note of them all. Champaka is a heart note, heart note, heart note. And then I give you tangerine, which is another top note. Okay? So in your oils that I gave you, there's only one that's really a note de fond or a foundational note, and that is your birch tar. That is going to be your base note for this perfume. And then if you have in your collection, Dirty Persephone perfume, if you ordered that one, which is a combination of vetiver, patchouli, pomegranate. The vetiver and patchouli in here, if you add that to your perfume for this month, because these are kind of like what we call resonant fragrances, they have the same energy as the notes that or the perfumes that the essential oils that I've given you. Then this will add 2 more base notes to your blend. And if you have the Demeter and the Persephone embodiment perfume, then, hold on just a second, then you're going to have 1 additional base note, which is going to be your Palmarosa. Palmarosa is in this one, vetiver and patchouli is in this one. What is similar to champaka? Nothing in the whole world. I mean, I'm not just saying that. There really is nothing like champaka. If you want to add other heart notes, though, these are other heart notes that you can consider. So instead of champaka, because white pepper is also a heart note that I gave you this month. Your olive oil, your carrier oil, is a heart note. And then ylang ylang, jasmine, rose, juniper, lily of the valley, honeysuckle, if you have any of those in your collection, while they're not the same as champaka, they will function as a heart note in your perfume. So that's why I wanted to tell you this early, because I want you to be able to gather additional oils from your apothecary cabinet if you feel called. Champaka, well, it's funny that you asked that, Annette, because she said, could you collect some champaka flowers from your tree for us? I actually did that about 3 months ago because she was just wildly in bloom. She's not blooming right now. She'll start blooming again in November. She goes through these cycles. She blooms about 4 times a year. But the petals, they almost disintegrate. The flower falls apart as soon as you pick it. It doesn't really have a structure that holds it together. So it immediately sort of falls apart into her loose petals, and then the petals don't dry well. So Champaka is not native to California. I got lucky. So the story, in case you haven't heard it, if you've already heard the story, just, la la la. I had always wanted a Champaka tree, Champaka is related to Magnolia, but it's native to Southeast Asia. And so I found out that there's a nursery in northern San Diego in a city called Vista. It's one of my favorite nurseries. It's called the California Fruit Tree Nursery. If you're ever in Vista, California, please go see them. It is an amazing experience. They are amazing. They've been there for 30 years, 35 years, I think, maybe even longer than that. So they sell mature fruit trees, 30 to 40-year-old fruit trees. And they had 2 mature Champaka trees. So Dave, for my birthday, 3 years ago now, took me down there and bought me a Champaka tree. And when we brought her home, she was 25 feet. She's now about 35 feet. She has grown so much since we got her. She'll top out at about 60 feet. And we have enough humidity because I live on the edge of the ocean here in Southern California. So we get a lot of fog, and it's actually quite humid where I live. Compared to a lot of parts of the United States, we're stickier here. But I like a little humidity. I don't like it to be super dry. So yeah, that was my birthday present 3 years ago, was a big grown-up Champaka tree, and she's beautiful and very happy. I planted her next to my big Meyer lemon tree, and she loves it in that corner back there. So yeah, so if you live where you get some humidity, I bet you could grow her. You just can't have a frost. That's the only thing. Yeah, I do love a hot, dry heat in the desert, I have to say. But so the part of LA I'm in feels very humid if you're from Oregon or Washington, where it's really dry, or if you're from Nevada or Arizona, where we are, it feels quite humid. So you might want to check into it. I don't know if they have smaller trees there or if they ship, but you could always reach out to them. It's family owned, you know what I mean, and they're very friendly and very knowledgeable. So if you ever are looking for rarer fruit trees or rarer flower trees, that nursery in Vista, I think it's called the California Fruit Tree Nursery or Big Fruit Tree Nursery or something like that. I just really recommend them. Yeah, if you're in Southeast Texas, you've got the humidity going there. I just like a little humidity. I find that my physical pain decreases when there's humidity, and it increases when the conditions are too dry. So I've also noticed that the humidity has a very calming effect on my central nervous system. And it is nice to shop with family-owned businesses, and like I said, they've been around for a really long time. So yeah, I love it. A lot of you are in Texas, actually. You guys should have a little Texas hookup. And then next time I'm in Texas, it's been a while. It's been about a year and a half since I've been in Texas. I was in Houston about a year and a half ago, just for a couple of days. I would love to do a meetup in Texas, either in Dallas or Houston, or maybe I could hop from Houston to Austin and do something there. Anyway, I love me some Texas. I love Texas food. I love Texas people. I love Texas weather. I love Texas everything. It's just, sometimes y'all are a little too conservative for me. That's the only thing. I know, Sage Goddess would be fun to have in Austin or something like that, wouldn't it? Or even, I love Houston. I just adore Houston. Houston's right up my alley. There's some snobby people in Houston, but it's also really beautiful, and I love the food. Aww. Okay. So, I'm going to teach you more about perfuming before we craft, because I really want to get into the nuts and bolts of this a little bit. Are you the weird ones, Lori? That's right. No, some people in Texas are not conservative. I just mean, laws around certain things. I'm actually quite conservative in some ways, and liberal in others. I'm not always as liberal as I seem. That's a conversation for another day. Okay, so this is the scent pyramid. And if you ever take a perfuming class proper, if you go to France, you go to the French perfume houses, they do little tutorials, and it is exactly this. I was supposed to be in France in July making a documentary about the history of perfume at the perfume houses there. I think a lot of you know that, and I had to cancel all my travel because of the pandemic. So I'm hoping to be able to go back to Nice and Grasse next year to be able to do that documentary for you guys. And my plan was to go live and do all kinds of fun live things with you there, and that just didn't happen this year. But we are hoping for France next year. Were you? Yeah, I was in France a year ago, May. Can't believe time has gone by so fast. But so if you can't come to Grasse, then I will hopefully at some point bring Grasse to you. The north of France is really beautiful, and that's where some of the original perfume houses are that to this day are operational. So let's go through this one more time. So a good perfume, this is the traditional pyramid. So a good perfume technically is 40% foundational notes or base notes, 30% heart note, and 20 to 30% top note. I tend to do more even. I tend not so much a pyramid. I tend to do kind of a square. I really think 30-30-30 when it comes to your to your perfumes. And yes, I absolutely will return to reading Ovid. There's been something going on every weekend. This last weekend was a high holiday because my family is Jewish, as you know. And I was also really, really sick. It's actually still hard for me to talk for too long at once right now. I've had a really bad upper respiratory infection, Jessica Hicks, the last week or two. So now that Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are over, and now that I may get my voice back and be able to talk for more than an hour at a time without having to lay down afterward, I am hoping to get back into reading with you guys. There's just been things happening every weekend, or I've been sick. So we'll get back to it now. Okay, so like I said, the traditional scent pyramid is 40-30-20 or 40-30-30, something like that. But I tend to do like 33-33-33 because what I have found is that I like a balanced scent. I like a balanced perfume. And sometimes if you have too much base and not enough top, or too much base and not enough heart, then the perfume feels kind of hollow, or it can feel too dense, or it can feel too weighed down. It's like if you put too much patchouli in something or too much vetiver in something. So Space Daisy's saying she doesn't care for the birch tar, so she's wondering about an alternative. Now here's the thing. Here's what you have to remember, and I think this is one of the most important things to know about perfume, because here's where this goes out the window, okay? And my original teacher and anybody in France would be like, you must follow the scent pyramid, right? And it's true. I mean, if you're gonna make a balanced perfume, you do need to follow it. But you have to balance where the notes land, whether it's base, heart, or top note, and also what the metaphysical properties are, right? So birch tar, the reason it's in your set, first of all, and I am going to teach you about all the oils tonight, but since we're talking about birch tar, it's going to be a base note for you. Alternative base notes are going to be patchouli, vanilla, musk, amber, myrrh, frankincense, cedar, neroli, sandalwood, or balsam of Peru, or palmarosa. Those are the most common base notes used in modern perfuming, and birch tar is down there. Now, because birch tar comes from the bark, so cinnamon bark is going to be a base note, birch bark is going to be a base note. Birch tar is the reason that it's in your set this month is because it's one of the primary oils of mothering and initiation. It's an oil that initiates us into the season or the stage of motherhood. So it's not just about subbing a base note, it's about figuring out a base note that has that same energy of mothering and initiation and transformation from one stage to another. So sometimes we work with oils because we like the scent of them, but in Soul Shift, when I choose an oil for you, it's not so much based on the scent, it's based on the energy of it. So I would like you to experiment with just trying a little bit of the birch and seeing what happens to that birch when it encounters the other notes that I've given you, like the lavender and the tangerine and the champaka and the olive and the white pepper, because those were all meant to subdue them, to subdue the birch, because the birch is kind of sharp, here's the other thing about birch. You ready? I know it's weird, but you guys know we digress, and you know, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you. That thing, if you have cellulite, I'm totally serious about this, okay? After I took those classes with my mom, I went and interned for an aromatherapist. And still to this day, I know her quite well. She doesn't work anymore, she's retired. I went to her and I said, I want to work for you. I want to learn. And so she said, well, I can't afford to hire you. And I said, okay. I think I was 20. I think I just turned 20. And I was still at El Camino College. I was in community college at the time. And so I said, okay, can I come and make stuff in your shop, in your office, for free? And you can sell it, so I'll make products for you if you provide me with the stuff and let me just play and learn, and then let me keep one of everything I make as pay. I totally negotiated this with her. And so she did. So she let me do that. So I, 2 or 3 nights a week after her office closed, I would go at like 9, 10 at night. I would work until 2, 3 in the morning. She let me have access to all of her ingredients, which at the time seemed overwhelming, and she probably had about 100 oils. I made bath salts and soaps and all kinds of stuff. She gave me packaging, and then she sold all my products, and then I kept one of each thing, and that was my pay. And I was a happy camper to do that because I just got to play and experiment, and I could never have afforded to buy all those ingredients. So I taught myself how to do all the things, make soap and make bath salts, and then she got to sell everything that I made, which was a very good deal. So I learned a lot from that time, and from her too. I know. Well, sometimes you have to make your own dream job. She wasn't offering a job. I went to her and I'm like, listen, I like it here. I want to hang out here. And she's like, I have no bucks to pay you. And I was like, okay, what can she give me that would be like bucks that doesn't cost bucks? So we can make this a win-win. So she taught me about birch tar and cellulite. So if you take birch and if you add a little lemon and a little orange to it, your citrus oils are really good. You have to use the oil. Birch wands on their own is not going to help, but birch oil. If you mix birch tar with lemon and orange or tangerine, and you put that in jojoba, and you dry brush with it every night, and you add a little bit to a bath too. It's good if you can like add that to your bath and soak in it. If you do that every day or every other day, you don't want to like overbrush, you will see an almost virtual removal of your cellulite. And I wouldn't have believed it unless it happened to me. So again, birch tar. So that's what I'm saying. You might fall in love with it once you realize what it does. Because it's pretty nifty, but it has a very strong scent, I will agree. So you kind of have to get over that a little bit. But try, if you will, just experiment with me for a minute, because ultimately this is how I learned everything that I know, is by playing and experimenting. Take your birch and your, I'm telling you, my mom used to say I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. I have my 3 little oils here. Hold on, guys, they're here. Are they in my pants? Oh, there. Sorry. Birch tar is in Naked. Naked has about a dozen different oils in it. Naked has every single essential oil for cellulite, and there's a lot. I'm just giving you something that you can make with what you have tonight, okay? So now I want you to take your tangerine up next to your nose, get a nice good inhale, and then hold the birch a little bit away from it. That is all you need to remove cellulite. In fact, it smells exactly like her old cellulite removal blend. It really does. She used sweet orange. She didn't use tangerine. I don't even think she had tangerine. But see what the citrus does to the birch? It softens it. So if you wanted to make your own cellulite blend, you could do that tonight. If that's one of the things you wanted to do tonight. I mean, it wasn't really my intention for giving you these notes. My intention is that this is a blend for a couple of things, okay? But I wanted to make sure, so we'll talk about the notes next, but I wanted to make sure you didn't have any questions about this. So do you understand the scent pyramid? And do you understand the idea of balance? So the idea, again, based in French perfuming, is that you have to have a strong foundation, and you pour your foundational notes first. You always pour your base notes first. Because, and here's why. If you start with the top notes, I know it sounds bizarre, but if you start mixing top notes, no matter how much base note you add, the bottom never drops in. It always stays high. If you start mixing lavender, orange, lemon, rosemary, and then you try adding patchouli, it'll drop it down a little bit, but you're never gonna get the body in that perfume. It's gonna smell like a kitchen cleaner. I have one friend who's like, she loves to learn about making perfume, and she always wants me to teach her, but then she's like, I just want you to make it though. I don't want to actually wear what I make, I just want to play, and then I want you to make the perfume. Because she jokes that like no matter what she makes smells like Pine Sol. But I found out what she was doing wrong is that she was mixing her top notes first. She never did her bottom notes and build from the ground up. If you start with your bottom notes, then as you add your top notes, it lightens it and lightens it and lightens it and lightens it, and you can decide, do you want a really balanced perfume, or do you want something that's got like she's got wider hips and a narrow shoulders, or do you want a girl that's got big hips and broad shoulders? You know what I mean? Sometimes you want a perfume that's got nice big hips, and you don't want to take away from it too much, because you can imagine what birch does. Lavender will hijack a perfume. Birch will hijack a perfume. The top notes, all of those top notes, will hijack a perfume and make it smell like Pine Sol. So you got to be very, very careful. A little bit goes a long way. The birch I gave you tonight, you're going to use maybe a few drops in that perfume that we're making, and then maybe you're going to use another 10, 12 drops in a cellulite blend, and you're still going to have half your bottle left. I can't imagine anybody using their whole container of birch. And then what you're going to do is you're going to be using your heart notes and your top notes to toggle, so that you can actually completely erase the smell of the birch but still have the property and the energies of it there. So that's why I'm going to tell you, if you ever do take a perfume class, I've taken a bunch. I've taken my team and I have taken perfume classes together here in LA. There's different perfume classes that you can take probably wherever you live. If you ever take a perfume class, it's always fun for me to watch people take perfume classes who've never taken a perfume class. And even my own team, when I kind of watch them, and they would be like, oh, I hate this one, I'm not going to try it. Oh, this one's awful, I'm not going to try it. And then when they got over that and they were willing to try putting it into a blend, they were like, wow, I had no idea that oil could end up smelling like that, right? You got to get past sometimes, like they would say, oh, I hate rosemary, I'm not using it. But one drop of rosemary in a perfume can completely change it, and it will smell nothing like rosemary, but it will fix it. If it's too soft, if it's too buttery, if it's too rich, if it's too thick, one drop of rosemary will sharpen it and tighten it and like pick it up and put it all together, but it won't smell like rosemary at all. So you learn how to use your, you will learn as you play and experiment, especially with what I'm teaching you tonight. You'll learn to be adventurous. You'll also learn that these notes don't smell like themselves once they start to dance with the other notes. And then you'll also learn how to toggle it. If it's too sharp, so if you end up with a perfume that's too sharp, that's top note, right? So then you have to build out her hips, okay? So you got to give her more of a heart, and you got to give her more of a booty, okay? If it's too rich, too buttery, too, if it's not sharp enough, if she's got a big booty, then you got to pull her up and sharpen her up with a top note, a rosemary, a tangerine, a lemon is really good. I like to use clary sage for that sometimes. Would be another one that's good to sharpen. Tea tree, again, 1 drop. You put 10 drops of tea tree in, all of a sudden you've got what smells like a facial astringent, right? But you put 1 drop of tea tree in, and it can fix the whole thing if you've got a perfume that you don't think smells very good. It's fascinating, right? Yeah, honestly, Danielle, any kind of viticulture, what's the word for, wine, the training in wine and winemaking and wine tasting and wine smelling is very good training for your nose. Because ultimately it comes down to your nose. And my team will tell you I drive them crazy because I know when Sage Goddess perfumes are right, and sometimes it's not about the recipe. So last year or year before, my team was trying to make Morgana. I think I was out of town, and they were trying to make a bottle while I was gone. And I remember one of them reached out to me and said, okay, we can't make Morgana. They had all the ingredients. Everything was lined up. They had my recipe, right? And I had to go in there and go, and then mix, and all of a sudden it was Morgana. But there is an art to this, and not just 10 drops of this, 14 drops of that, 12 drops of that. There really is an art to it, and the problem with Sage Goddesses, I know when the perfumes are done and when they're ready by my nose, because I've been making these same oils for almost a decade, but it's very hard to get there if you don't kind of have the ability to sense the different oils. Aw, thanks you guys. A bud tender. Yeah, well, sure. Enology, that's right. Yeah, there's a little something to it, right? I have kept kyanite the same. There's so many perfumes that people, don't ever want to change, and we try to maintain them, even though sometimes the source of the ingredients shifts and changes. That's always tricky too. Okay. I'm just seeing if you guys have any other questions. Okay, so you can choose whether you want to make yours kind of bottom heavy, which is traditional French, against 40. I always think 40, 30, 20, even though that doesn't really add up to 100. It's really 40, 30, 30. And I think in some cases the French perfuming is more 50, 30, 20. They really do a heavy base note. And that's the hallmark of French perfume. American perfumes, which I will tell you I detest. I have to say, I don't own any American spray department store perfumes. I don't love them. I don't even really like them. Sometimes, not anymore, but like when I was younger, I would get gifted a perfume, like a department store perfume. The problem with American department store perfumes, in my opinion, is that they are all top notes and heart notes. Because Americans don't like vetiver, and they don't like patchouli, and they don't like musk, and they don't like amber, and they don't like tonka, and they don't like these French perfumes. Like Guerlain is a really powerful French perfume house. So Guerlain makes a sandalwood called Santal Royal, which I absolutely adore. It's actually my favorite sandalwood perfume in the world. But American perfumes are all, like if you look at like a Britney Spears perfume or whatever, it's all top and heart notes. It's got no base. Or if it does have a base, it'll have a single base note. So American perfumes are like this. Top note, heart note, base. At best, they've got 20%. And again, in the United States, they don't use labdanum because again, people don't like thick, heavy scents. You go to, I remember perfume shopping in Australia once because Australia has some really great big department stores, and I loved looking at all their perfumes because they a lot of times import perfumes from other parts of the world that we don't, and it's just the reverse. So when a lot of people go, oh, well, I don't like, department store perfumes because they don't smell natural, the reason they don't smell natural is that they don't have a base note, and you're used to something natural smelling like it's got a base note. Annick Goutal is great. Le Labo is okay. Le Labo, I had an experience with Le Labo that really disappointed me. I bought their oud perfume because I thought, well, Le Labo. When I was in Paris, I went to the Le Labo flagship boutique, and I was like, well, Le Labo, they did an oud. It's probably pretty good. It was very expensive, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna see what it's like. So I got a sample of it, and it's not real, which was really disappointing to me. And it's not even a well done synthetic. It really smelled kind of like department store-y. Definitely, you've smelled oud, you would be like, this is not oud. So I was actually a little disappointed. What else? What other brands do I like? I do like Jo Malone. Again, hybrid. She does a lot of synthetic hybrid perfumes with natural notes, but they have more of an authentic smell to them because they have a nice solid base. Oak Moss is a base for sure, and I love Oak Moss. Do you like Oak Moss Absolute? It's in our Wolf perfume and a couple of other, it's in Moongazer, like some of the perfumes that people really love. Fragonard is okay too. Fragonard of the 3 French houses is my least favorite. My favorite French house is Molinard, but Fragonard is the one that has the most boutiques. So if you go to Paris and you want to find a perfume shop, Fragonard is going to be the perfume shop that you find. Molinard never really, franchised as much, so you don't find as many Molinard perfumeries. But Fragonard does a really beautiful patchouli. It's synthetic, but it's wonderful. I mean, I truly, truly love it. It's the best synthetic patchouli I've ever smelled, and that is the Fragonard. Yep, that heckity. And then I actually really like. I'm actually thinking about teaching perfumery next year. That's a big discussion right now about because I ultimately want to do miraphoric training. My great-grandmother and grandmother were miraphors. They were working with resins and flowers and unguents and all of that, all those years ago. And miraphoric training is really a Greek tradition that goes back to, they really are oil priestesses. So I've been thinking about doing that, but it may end up not being next year. Some people are not that excited about aromatherapy. That's why my team, Claire was saying, no, we shouldn't do it because people didn't really get all that excited about Aromagic. So I don't want to offer a class on perfuming if it's not something that people are really excited about, because I think you have to really be excited about that. But it is something that I'm really passionate about. And one of the things I really love too, I was able to get a small sample of, so there are oils that are extracted from animals, and some of them are done in ways that don't harm the animal, like civet, for example, which smells like dirt and kind of like poop and magic. And a little bit of civet in your oil is like, oh, it just smells like magic. See, you guys like Aromagic. It's her perspective that people weren't super into Aromagic, so I don't know. No, I would never work with anything that's harmful. Civet is extracted from the rear end of the animals. It's actually kind of like a poop, sort of. But it's an ingredient in perfume. Now, again, not in the U.S. Nobody puts civet in perfumes in the U.S., but they do in other countries, and it's one of my favorite ingredients. I have a little civet downstairs, and it's super poopy. Well, astrology we already do. I was just talking about aromatherapy. There's always going to be astrology in my classes, but we may or may not do much with aromatherapy next year. So Miraphor is M-Y, it's actually based on the word myrrh, so it's M-Y-R-R-H-O-P-H-O-R-E, Miraphor. Civet, it's C-I-V-E-T. It's kind of like butt sauce. I'm telling you, look up civet, then you'll see. There's a whole lineage of civet and where it's come from and how it's used in perfume. And the secret's in the poop, everybody. Hate to say it to you. Yep, C-I-V-E-T. I did make a Miraphor perfume with a couple different varieties of myrrh in it. That was quite a while ago. Yeah, distilling is a whole other thing. I think distilling would be really fun. But here's what you have to know about distilling, and this is why aromatherapy has always been fascinating to me. You know, we know for sure that Cleopatra worked with jasmine oil, right? We know that. But how does she get it? It takes about 100 pounds of jasmine petals to make an ounce of essential oil. Think about that. Actually, no, it's not an ounce, it's a kilogram, but it's 100 pounds of petals to make a kilogram. So that is, I mean, more jasmine flowers than you can imagine distilling. So she had to have access to a distillery. She had to have access to that many jasmine plants in bloom, and you have to take the petals at the height of their growth. So that takes some knowledge, right? And then you have to distill the petals at the height of their bloom, and you'd have to have that many pounds of the oil to do it, which is why jasmine is so expensive, rose is so expensive, champaka is ridiculous. That's why this is pure champaka that I gave you, and it's uncut. I would guard this with your life. This is uncut lavender, and then the other one we gave you was, my carpet is dark, so trying to keep track of these little tiny bottles in here is like a joke. Now I lost my other one that I had. What was the tangerine? It's right here. So tangerine is not expensive, and lavender is, you know, in the middle of the road, and then champaka is ruddick. Champaka is really good for wrinkles too. Champaka and helichrysum. Champaka functions as a natural form, to a certain extent, of natural acids that can actually reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. So the other thing you could do with this, if you wanted to, is make a little dropper with some rosehip seed oil, if you have it, a little bit of helichrysum oil, if you have it, and then a little bit of this, maybe about a third of this, into that dropper, and then just right where where you get your crow's feet, right here on the sides of the cheeks, what they call the nasal labial folds, a little bit on your neck here, because it helps with the crepey, when you get loose turkey neck here. And then it also helps with the tops of the hands, which tend to develop age spots. It can be good for that too. So that's another little skincare trick for you. Carrot seed oil is also really good for fine lines and wrinkles. So these are just some extra little, like if you have extra of your oils left over, don't throw them away or get rid of them. There are other products that you can make. Yeah, and the way you do your neck, and this was my mom teaching me, you put your head back, you get your oils on the tops of your hands, and you go like this 25 times, once a day. Up, 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 up. And that's how you work on the crepey. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're too young, but write it down, because later on you'll want to know. It really works. You will see a dramatic improvement in the texture of the skin on your neck. Myrrh and frankincense are both good for fine lines and wrinkles too, because remember, they're both antioxidant too, and that's one of the most important things to keep in mind when you're making good skincare. Yeah, and it's never too late too. I mean, if you're starting to get crepey on your hands or crepey on your neck, it's never too late. But those are the areas where most people experience challenges with their skin, so those are the areas you want to focus on. Avocado oil is great for your skin too, Dasha. Start taking care of your skin when you're young. I started taking care of my skin when I was 18, or 19, when I took the aromatherapy classes with my mom. That's when I invested in sponges, because they taught us you have to wash your face with sponges, disposable sponges, and how to wash your face, and the importance of exfoliation. All of those things are really, really important. So start at any age, but if you can start taking care of your skin in your late teens and 20s, that's the best thing to do. I'm already teaching Zoe about, I haven't started her on vitamin C or anything like that, but I have started to teach her already, because I think it's really important. Our Wrinkle Away Serum has everything that you need. I don't know if it's in stock. That's why I'm giving you some other tools and suggestions, because a lot of our perfumes are out of stock. Yeah, that's how you use your Mookite roller. That's exactly what I do. Up, 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 up. And then you want to roll right here. And you want to roll right here. That's right. Interesting, Sheila. You might want to try, though, because it would help you with your acne or your breakouts. You might want to try glycolic acid. It's a gentle acid. It actually, when my son's breakouts get really bad, I work with glycolic acid on his breakouts rather than benzoyl peroxide, and it actually has done a lot of wonders for his skin too. Is this interesting to you guys? Are you enjoying this? I don't know. I mean, I thought this was a good discussion for us. We need more rollers too. I know, Alexis, we need to tell them, because I have one, but I don't. I'm actually like, I don't have a backup, so I'm like, what's gonna happen if I lose my roller? The rollers are so nice because they're gemstone and they take the oil really easily. Like that Mookaite one just glides. So I'm glad you guys have enjoyed that. Okay, good. Yeah, it's really important. The other thing to know is that it's really important to use your fingers under your eyes every day. And jasmine and rose and champaka are really good for under eye too. They brighten, they reduce swelling and inflammation. So if you don't have an eye cream that you really like, they do have Wrinkle Away online. Thank the Lord. Alexis, can you ask them to send me home a bottle? Because I'm on my last couple drops of it. I mix my Wrinkle Away serum with my Monastery products that I use, because her stuff has glycolic acids in it, and I need that for my skin. So, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, well, and Elisa, here's the other thing. If you don't wear a lot of makeup, that your skincare routine is less important. I wear full makeup every day because I like it. So, but that means I really have to be diligent about washing my face because I use foundation every day. Okay, cool. Yeah, Wrinkle Away is the bomb. So if we do have Wrinkle Away and you can get that, that's a good place to go. Yeah, Monastery is the company that I use for my skincare. At some point, she and I are going to develop a Sage Goddess product, which I think is really cool. She was following me, and I didn't know that, and I started buying her skincare, and then she wrote me a note saying, oh, how funny, I follow you, and her name is Athena too, and so we've been DMing on Instagram about co-creating a product, because a lot of my customers have started buying her products for skincare, and she makes everything with really all natural ingredients and pure essential oils, so it's nicely done. Oh, interesting. That's really, really interesting. Okay, so, and the XX is amazing. That's the product you start with. If you're checking out Monastery, always start with XX, because that's her glycolic, and then her aloe product is her hyaluronic acid. If you're starting to see signs of aging, you want to work with glycolic acid, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin C. Those are going to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, which are what people see in their 40s and 50s. It'll really make a world of difference. Okay. Yeah, as long as Athena makes Monastery, I'm never going to make skincare, because I'll never be able to do it really as well as she does it. I use XX in the morning, and I use aloe at night. So I don't use her cleanser because I'm really loyal to Dermalogica, which is the company that I love. I love their cleanser. So I don't use her cleanser. I only use her XX in the morning, which is glycolic acid. And then I use her aloe in the evening, which is hyaluronic acid. And I use Gold, and I use Attar. I use Attar as my eye cream. And I mix my Wrinkle Away serum with the XX in the morning, and I mix my Wrinkle Away serum with the aloe at night. So that's my Monastery skincare routine. My skincare routine is actually really simple. I mean, I wash my face and do the thing, but the one thing I will tell you, I use my Good Cleanser on my face, my chest, and my arms. Because the other place that women in their 40s and 50s get kind of crepey is on their upper arms. So you have to use glycolic acid on your arms and also on your hands. You can't just take care of your face but ignore your chest and ignore your arms. So whatever product you're using on your face, make sure you're using it on your neck, on your décolleté, all over your chest, above your bra line, and then make sure you're using it on your arms and your hands. your whole upper body really deserves the same quality of care that you give to your face. Vitamin C is the bomb. If I always say, if you can't afford like the monastery line because it gets a little expensive, there's a great vitamin C serum on Amazon, and that's enough to turn back the hands of time. I think it's called, I can't remember. It's like a basic Amazon brand vitamin C serum, but it's great. And if you use that every day, it shouldn't go bad because you should use it before it goes rancid on you. So yeah, and take care of your legs, take care of your arms. Okay, good. The wash I use is, I use Special Cleansing Gel by Dermalogica, which is their super, super basic cleanser. They have a dermal clay cleanser, but I have oily skin, so it dries my skin out too much, and then I break out. I have very much Mediterranean skin, and I still get oily, and I still get pimples, which is probably a good thing. But I don't use the dermal clay because it's too astringent. What works on brown spots? Glycolic acid and lemon juice will keep you from getting those brown spots. Yeah, you put your vitamin C in the fridge. That's a good thing to do too. It feels better too. It's so refreshing on a hot day to put your vitamin C serum on at night, and after it's been in the fridge, it's really nice. Cleansers for men, same thing. So Dave uses, I just give Dave skincare. He doesn't really ask what it is, so I just put everything in his shower and on his sink that he needs to use, so he doesn't have to think about it. So he uses Special Cleansing Gel. And then he's not as consistent with the acids and the vitamin C. He's also younger than I am, though. So, maybe by the time he's in his mid-40s, Dave isn't as concerned about aging as I am. Okay, you need a skincare fridge. Yeah, I only use, I think it's 3 products total. It's every single day. And that's Wrinkle Away with XX and Aloe. And then I'll use Attar in the morning, just a little bit for under eye. MAC also makes a really great under eye concealer, or not concealer, but under eye cream that has caffeine in it. So if you ever have like real bags under your eyes, the MAC eye cream with caffeine in it is really yummy too. That's a good one. Do I like Immortal more than glycolic acid? Not necessarily. I think ultimately you have to try some different things. For cellulite, yes. So for cellulite, you want jojoba oil with birch tar and tangerine, which you have in your kit tonight. So that's what I'm saying. If you wanted to, what you can do tonight is make your perfume with me, which we're going to start crafting in just a minute. You could use this bottle to make your perfume with me tonight, and then you could save this one to make your cellulite potion if you wanted to. And I actually would do olive oil, because olive is just as good, and olive is really good for tissue regeneration, cellular regeneration, which is kind of what you want. So yeah, this would be a good one. That's good to know. Shape Tape is amazing under eye concealer. I love learning from you guys too. Yeah, Dermalogica does not have coconut in it that I know of. They're really careful about not having things that tend to trigger people's allergies. I think Dermalogica is legit. I really do. The CEO is an esthetician, and so it's always good when the people who are really in charge of a company have content expertise. Okay, good. Yeah, so olive oil, birch tar, and tangerine. And then what you do is you rub that on the backs of your legs, and I put it on my tummy too. Why not? You put it on your butt, and then you get your dry brush and you scrub it. And if you want, you can dry brush and then put it on afterward. But the oils help to dissipate your cellulite if you have it. And if you don't have cellulite, then you have nothing to worry about. You may have other problems to worry about, but you don't have to worry about cellulite. I would do, in a bottle this size, I would probably do about 10 drops of the birch tar and maybe 5 of the tangerine. If you really want to, you could make it 10 and 10, and then I would fill the rest with olive oil, and that's all you need. So we should do a dry brushing demo. I don't know how I would do it with clothes on. You just take your brush and you scrub up the backs of your legs and you scrub your butt. Dave always laughs at me when he catches me do it. I try to do it when I'm by myself because it just looks weird. You know, you're just like scrubbing your butt with a brush. But I scrub my legs, front and back. I scrub my butt, and I scrub my stomach. And I'll tell you something, dry brushing got rid of my C-section scar. I don't know if you guys have scars, but I had a big old gnarly C-section scar, and I put my carrot seed oil and my dry brushing oils and dry brushed it every day, you know, for the first couple of years afterward, and it's so faint. I mean, you really have to be looking for it to find it. So if you look up dry brush on Amazon, any of the ones that you find there, they have some cutie pie ones that are made for your hand. Like it's got like a little oven mitt. It's like you slide your hand in and then you can do it. So they're like little round brushes for your hand. We had some at Sage Goddess, but I think they sold out. But you can find them on Amazon. Or you can get one with a handle. And I recommend doing it in the shower just while you're in there. You know what I mean? Keep your dry brush oil and your brush on the side of your shower. And then while you're in the shower and you're scrubbing, you just scrub your butt. I mean, not the inside of your butt. We're talking about your butt cheeks. Your butt cheeks and the backs of your legs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for your face too. I mean, it's good. Here's the thing, and then we'll start crafting over this. This is the last thing I'll say about all of this. Exfoliation is the key to youthful skin. That is, if there's one thing my mom taught me in a nutshell that I can teach you, I'm not trying to get you to scrub the inside of your butt. Don't tell anybody I told you to do that. Do it while you're wet. I mean, not in the water, you know what I mean? But while you're in there, you can do it while your leg is a little bit wet. So my mom taught me early, exfoliation is the reason that, because I used to be like, well, why does that lady look so young and that lady doesn't, you know, like kids do? And my mom would be like, I can tell you, she exfoliates and she doesn't. That's the bottom line. I mean, no matter how much work people have done, and like I said, I've never had work done because it scares me. I mean, the idea of someone like it's really hard for me to imagine going in and having like surgery on my face. You know, it's like you come out and you're like, what are you going to look like? So I don't know. Maybe eventually I would do something like that, but it'll all be hard pressed. So I'm trying to do as much as I can with just natural stuff, right? You can be dry, but you can do it in the shower. I'm not saying when you're soaking wet, you guys. Like, you know, when you're shaving and stuff in the shower, after you're done shaving, brush. You don't have to be spanking dry to do it. So I can't imagine having any work done. So I'm trying to look as good as I can without doing things that scare the shit out of me like that. So exfoliation is everything. That creates cellular turnover, right? So it's constantly forcing your skin to show the next layer down, right? How do you read Steven's comment? That's why I love you. Take the brush out of your butt today. That's not what Athena told you to do. Guess what we learned in class today? So anyway, stretch marks, same thing. Stretch marks respond really well to oils, you know? So I would say if you have stretch marks, then you want to, I would do the carrot seed oil. Anything that you put on your face, you should put on your stretch marks. So your glycolic acid is good on your stretch marks. Carrot seed oil is very gentle, but also very soothing. You can dry brush over your stretch marks really gently, right? And just try to rehydrate your skin. Loose skin is going to respond to glycolic acid and 5-pound weights. That's what you have to do. You have to put glycolic acid and lift your small weight, your 5-pound weights. Ooh, Jen got a zip device to give herself microcurrent facials. I have no idea about that, but it sounds good. So what I did to prevent stretch marks when I was pregnant, because I don't have stretch marks, and I literally, I was big when I delivered my children. I gained about 80 pounds with each one of my kids, and I'm 5'2". So I indulged. I also had thyroid issues. Pregnancy was not the cutest time of my life. I didn't feel super cute when I was pregnant. I loved being pregnant. So for me not to have stretch marks, I definitely put on a lot of weight. So the secret, and again, my mom told me to do this. I did it every night while I was pregnant with both my kids, and I think it's the secret. She said, get in a bathtub, put carrot seed oil. I was very careful with what oils I used when I was pregnant, because some essential oils can cause you to miscarry. You got to be very careful. So she said just lavender, rose, and carrot seed oil. Put it in the bathtub, and every night lay in the bathtub with enough water to cover your belly. And toward the end, I was like, how do you get enough water in there to cover this thing? And it prevents stretch marks when you're pregnant. Did you gain 65 pounds? That makes me feel a little bit better. Ironically, I have a couple of stretch marks on my rear end from gaining weight when I was young, but I have no stretch marks from carrying 2 big babies. Shrinking pores, you want to use a good toner or an astringent, and also your glycolic acid will help you to shrink your pores. So, yeah, okay, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Yeah, be careful with pore suctioning things. Again, I always reference my mom, but my mom's actually really conservative when it comes to things. She was always the one saying, a little bit goes a long way, and don't overdo it. And, I have some friends who are in media and television, and they go and spend, $1,000 to have these like photo treatments and stuff like that, but it just scares the crap out of me. And I can just hear my mom going, you don't need that. You have olive oil. And it's like, oh, she's kind of right. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the oils that you have and go through their metaphysical properties with you really quickly. So if you're down for it, I think we blend right into our blending bottles tonight. And then what I'm going to recommend is that you save this to make yourself a skincare product tonight. Because you have everything in this set to make a really great cellulite oil, or something to refine your body skin, right? To tighten and refine the skin on your body. So I would love to see you use your leftover birch and your leftover tangerine to make a body treatment oil, right? I'm not picky about carrot seed oil. The one I have is just from Amazon. So I'm not too particular. Just like with vitamin C serums, one of my best friends is a nurse practitioner dermatologist, and when I have done like minor Botox and things like that, she's the one who's done that for me. And what she says is you can use any vitamin C serum. She doesn't sell them because she's like, even the ones on Amazon are great. Like, brand doesn't matter. They're all pretty much the same ingredients. So it's kind of helpful to know, like, you don't have to break the bank. Don't buy the most expensive vitamin C serum. They all have the same ingredients. Yeah, so if you're making a cute butt serum, and I think you could make a nice label on it that says cute butt, that's going to be your birch tar, olive oil, and tangerine. Do you want to make that with me really quick? That'd be kind of fun. Why don't we do that first? And then if you want to make a beauty serum for your face, what I'm going to recommend is that you use a little bit, just a little bit of your, if you want to do that instead of a cute booty. Our birch tar we import, but if you don't have it from Sage Goddess, you can probably find it on Amazon probably, or if you have another favorite essential oil distributor. So if you don't want to make a cute booty serum, you can make a cute face serum. You could take a little bit of your champaka with your olive oil, and then to that you're going to want to add a little rosehip seed, a little jasmine if you have it. What else would be good? A little helichrysum if you have it. And some of you have these from when I taught you Aeromagic. So if you want to make cute face serum, that's that. If you want to make cute booty serum, that's that. That's awesome. How do you avoid pimples on the booty? dry brushing. If you dry brush, you won't get pimples on your butt. Pimples on the butt are a real thing, especially if you sit a lot and if you like sweat and I know it's gross, but whatever. I like to talk about everything. I'm that girlfriend that'll talk to you about all those things. But if you sit too much and you get sweaty, you're gonna get butt pimples. And so if you dry brush every day, you'll never get a butt pimple again. I had a friend who used to get terrible. They were like worse than butt pimples. It was like a butt, I don't even know why we're talking about this, but she used to get these like welts on her butt. She used to tell me she had a hard time like sitting down. And I was like, girl, if you don't dry brush you, I'm going to bend you over and dry brush you with your butt welts. Like, what is even happening there right now? A boil. She used to get boils. So she started dry brushing. She never got a boil again because it moves the tissue. You know what I mean? It moves the tissue around. So anyway, I'm your friend that you can come to and go, I've got a butt boil. And I'll be like, bend over, I'm going to scrub your butt. Did you really? Carolyn said this is a legit problem, that when she was a surgeon, she treated a lot of that. Did you really? See, what you needed to do is send them to me, and I will bend them over, and I will scrub their butt off. Okay. So you might look. I mean, Etsy is it. You might look for oils on Etsy if you can't find them on Amazon. Yeah, Melissa went away from the feed. Now she's coming back. She's like, all of a sudden we're talking about butt bubbles. Like, whoa, where did this go tonight? But I will. I'll be like, you bend over, I'll scrub your butt. And Stephen is also a butt expert. We have butt experts in the house. But seriously, these are questions that need to be asked and answered. Where else are you going to go? You're going to end up on, what's going to happen is if people don't have places to go and ask these things, they're going to be on WebMD, and all of a sudden they're going to think they have like, some horrible disease when all they have is like a butt welt from not scrubbing their butt hard enough. Okay, so let me make you the cellulite blend. Because that is an important one. So you have a pipette, which is important. The nice thing about a pipette is that it allows you to actually measure your drops and you don't spill. So if you ever want to make it again, you can keep track of what you have, right? So it could be from not clear. Civet butt juice and butt maintenance. This is what we've talked about tonight. Aren't you glad that you are in Soul Shift? Is this shifting your soul? It's shifting your butt. It should have come with your kit. If you didn't get your kit and you like working with pipettes, you can get these on Amazon too. You can get them. They come in like a pack of 20 or 30 or 50. These are perfuming tools. Yeah, Camellia, everything will be in your notes after tonight, so don't even worry about it. Alexis is taking notes. Okay, so I'm going to, you just go into your bottle and squeeze, and it pulls the oil into the top up here. So that even if you let go of the bottle, it doesn't drip. Isn't that the coolest thing? So it actually is a really nifty little tool. See how it kept all the oil in the top? So that you don't drip and spill and all of that. So let's put, remember we always start with our base note, and birch is a base note. So I'm going to put 10 drops in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 15. I did 15 drops. And by the way, the bottle is still full. That's what I'm saying. You have more than enough in this dram to make your cute butt serum and your perfume. Yeah, it's called a pipette. Yeah. No pipette in your kit either? Oh. I don't know. We should have put pipettes in your kit. If we didn't and you want to have pipettes for your own crafting, then Amazon's a good place to go. They're super cheap. I mean, they're just a little expensive, right? You can, and it is nice. Karen Carley has a great tip for you. Did you see her comment? She said you can use it to consolidate all your perfume samples. So all you would do is just dip this into your perfume sample, because see how skinny it is? You just dip that in, pull it out, and then you can consolidate them all into one roller bottle. Maybe they just gave me a pipette and didn't give it to you. I don't know. in which case if you want them. As a perfumer, I use them all the time. So I have a big stock of them downstairs in my little perfume drawer thing. Okay. So sorry I teased you. You didn't get a pipette. Oh, that's true. If you could use your dropper bottle too from your dropper bottle if you want to. Okay, well thank you for clarifying. Lorian clarified it has not come in the kit. So use the dropper from your bottle. And then if you like pipettes because they're super cheap, grab a set of them on Amazon, and that way if you are going to be starting to make things, you can use that for that. Okay, and then your tangerine oil. I would say go ahead and use the same amount. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-ish. And then smell it. Do you like it? I did about 15 drops of the birch tar, and I did about 15 drops of the tangerine so far in my cute butt serum. Yeah, if you have, it's great. Crystal Scarlet is adding orange and lemon. If you have orange, add it. If you have lemon, add it. But I'm telling you, this is the exact formula that my early mentor when I was 20, the lady I worked for free, this is what she used to sell. And she used to sell it to, like, where I live, it's like all the Manhattan Beach ladies. And she sold it for a lot. It was like $35 or $40 a bottle. And all it was birch tar with tangerine. And then take your olive oil. And you can fill it up to the top if you want. If you wanna, I'm gonna probably fill it up about halfway because I want to have enough left over for my perfume too. But if you have extra virgin olive oil in your kitchen, you can also use that. I'm going to take the cap off of this. I usually have a pair of scissors here, but I don't have them right now. Everything I have needed tonight has not been here. You ever have days like that where it's like, okay, well, don't have that. Nope. I'm trying to do this with the wrong tool. There we go. You are going out of there. There we go. So you can decide how much of your olive oil you want to use on this, since we're making 2 different crafts tonight. Yeah, so the rest is olive oil. And you can use your pipette or you can pour it. I'm not going to pour all of it though, like I said, because I want to make sure I have enough for my perfume. And then I'll fill the rest of it up after class. But that'll last you for a while. That's a good, cute butt serum. Your butt will thank me in the morning. It's going to take you, Camellia wants to smell it through the screen. The nice thing about the olive oil is it sort of softens and kind of adds its own layer of scent to the blend. Yeah, so one more time, no problem, Nicole. Always ask if you have any questions, because I'm happy to say things again or clarify if things aren't making sense. Oh, the mouse is moving on its own. So there's 2 ways to dry brush. Some people brush and then apply the oils. I like to apply the oils and then brush, okay? So, and you can either apply the oils to the bristles of your brush, or you can apply the oils to your skin and then brush. Either way, the oil is going to get on the bristles anyway. And you want to apply the oils. That's really smart. Leslie added it to an almost empty bottle of Naked. So you basically just made another bottle for yourself. And I kind of like that because I love being able to use tools for multiple purposes. So, and there's videos on YouTube too. That's great. So I don't have to strip down and make a video for you. So only where you have issues, right? So I dry brush my arms. I dry brush the backs of my arms because it bugs me to get, the little pimply things that happen here. I like to have smooth arms. It's like a fetish of mine, but I don't like having funk on my arms. And I also dry brush my armpits too, because it's just good, especially if you shave under your arms, which I do. It's good. So, and this is it is a special brush. You can get the brush at Whole Foods. They have them in the, in the wellness section of Whole Foods that you can just go in and buy them off the stand. Or you can get them on Amazon. They're super cheap. You can keep it in your shower, or you can keep it outside of your shower. Yeah, the little bumpity bumps. It actually, what removed my bumpity bumps was the apple cider vinegar. ACV actually gets rid of these bumps right here. A friend of mine who's a doctor said it's because of the malic acid in apple cider vinegar that it removes the bumps. So, so after your 15 drops of your birch and your 15 drops of your tangerine, you're going to fill the rest of this with olive oil, and then you're going to apply that to the parts of your body where you have cellulite, which for most of us is butt cheeks and the backs of your legs, and sometimes the sides of your legs. And so wherever you have your cellulite, and then you're going to take your brush and you're going to brush. I brush down and then pull up. So I go down and up, down and up, down and up, and then up and down into my arms, the backs of my arms. And it feels really good afterward. It feels really good afterward. And you will really start to love how smooth your skin feels. Because for me, it's not just about like the appearance of it, because I do like to go to the beach and wear a bathing suit and feel confident. And I am one of those women in my 40s who still wears a bikini. I know, like, some people don't like that, but I do. All my bathing suits are two-piece, so I do like to look cute in my bathing suit. But the other benefit is your skin feels really soft. So I think it's a win-win. You are very welcome. Okay. Busy with Brilliance is saying, I've been searching for this answer everywhere, please help. What percentage-ish should your mix be of carrier oils? So it depends on what you're doing, okay? At the very least, I like to cut my perfumes 50-50, unless sometimes when I'm doing ceremonial perfumes, I don't cut them very much, I have to say. Like some of the real, like Madre Tierra and stuff, those perfumes are cut more like 70-30, because I really want the oils to be the star of the show and I want the scent to be strong. So sometimes I will choose not to cut the oils too much because I want the medicine of the essential oils to come through. But 50-50 is pretty good. Carrier oil to essential oil. In something like this, where the birch is really strong and the citrus can be quite drying for your skin, I like to cut it a little bit more. So this is more like 90-10, okay? When you're working with citrus, when you're working with cinnamon, when you're working with, like I said, any of the really sharp or sometimes astringent or what can be irritating oils to the skin. And the citrus can sometimes bother the skin. So, yeah, so I brush down the first time and then up toward my heart. But you do have to get a bi-direction movement going. Because what you're ultimately doing is you're moving the fat, stored fat under the skin, and you're reshaping it. So you don't want to just move one direction, but the final pass is up. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up. Is that helpful? You're very welcome. But again, just see what works for you. But that's your Cube Booty Serum. Now, I want you to get your blending bottle. And I'm going to light my candle just because I like my candle, so I'm going to light it. I'm going to actually had it lit earlier today too. And then, optional, but if you have a leaf of sage, something very, like just a small piece of sage. I'll show you how I like to clear my bottle. So I kind of like peel it down until it's very skinny. Just the tiniest little piece. And light your sage. And then I just like to stick it into the bottle and let the smoke cleanse the inside of the bottle. I'm gonna get much smoke off of that. Light it one more time. There we go. And just set the leaf inside. The smoke will go inside the bottle. I can see it moving around. And just say a little prayer. You know, set an intention. This is ceremonial, right? So just setting an intention for this perfume while you let it clear a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can totally use jojoba instead of olive. What I've been trying to do tonight is use what I gave you, you know, so that you really get a sense of the fact that the tools for this month are really quite multi-purpose. But again, a lot of you have expansive collections of oils, carrier oils and essential oils at this point. So if you have other EOs you want to use, if you have other carrier oils that you want to use, it does just feel good to light the candle sometimes. I know, I agree. So there's a little bit of ash in the bottle. If it bothers you, you can take it out, pop it out. But it is nice to, don't throw your ash away. Just throw it into your shell. It's amazing how one leaf of sage is all you need. You know? It's really true. And the older I get, the more conservative I am with everything. You know, you just develop such a keen appreciation for how sacred and precious these natural resources are. Yeah, and if you dropped your sage in and you want it out, you can just, you know, turn it over and dump it into your hand, but then make sure you put everything in your smudging shower or your dish, so you don't waste it. Okay, so we've cleared our bottle. Come up with your intention, and Diane, don't worry, everything's going to be in the notes for you from tonight. So, everything will be in there. Yeah, and I love it. Like Jess is, you know, is using ylang ylang. She's kind of improvising, and I think that's really cool. That's your cute booty mix. What do I put on bug and spider bites? It's really funny because I don't use oils so much anymore. I found this thing on Amazon that because when I get bitten, I really get bitten, and so it gets hot and it kind of burns the bite, but it completely cuts the itch immediately, and it never itches again, and it works. So I have 2 in my suitcase in case one of them breaks while I'm traveling, because I tend to travel to tropical locations or places where it gets really hot and humid, and then I have one in my nightstand, and the kids have one in their room too. Because when we get bitten, we get really bitten. And we've had terrible mosquitoes and spiders here this year, like insane in Southern California. We've never had mosquitoes and spiders like this. It's worse than Louisiana. It's worse than Georgia. It's worse than Florida. I've been to all those places. It's worse than Texas. I cannot believe how many mosquitoes. And we don't have chiggers or anything, but we've had our share of mosquitoes this year. Oh, thank you for that, Angelia. I really appreciate you seeing me tonight. You get eaten alive here. They're funny. Yeah, I mean, and if I'm in somewhere really, really tropical and I get bitten, it's like my whole leg will swell or my whole behind will swell. Of the burner thing, I don't know, but if you want me to link to it, I'll put a link in the Facebook group later. It's a weird thing, but it honestly, it works. and I'm completely sold. And everybody who doesn't believe me tries it, and then they're like, oh my God, I gotta have this thing. It's really, really cool. Okay. Let's just say it's been as bad as Louisiana. And Louisiana's bad. It's bad in Texas with mosquitoes too. Uh-huh. I will hook you up with a burner thing on Amazon. You will love it. It will save your life. Seriously, the minute you get bitten, you burn it and you'll never feel it again. It's the most rad thing. Okay, and you can travel with it and you don't have to worry about liquids. So it's like one of my favorite things ever. It's the best invention ever. Okay, so now, the oils that we're working with tonight, okay? Birch tar is initiation, mothering, birthing, beginning. Birch tar is the bark of the birch tree. And it's about crossing thresholds. And it's especially about transitioning from the maiden phase to the mother phase of life. So, and that's where a lot of you are. You're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. You're in that maiden phase. I'm at the end of my maiden phase heading toward crone because I'm in menopause. So what's interesting is Champaka is really bad. Champaka is maiden to crone. Champaka is, so I'm in between, right? I'm in the last year of my cycle. Interesting, right? So Annette and I are the same age. Mm-hmm. So although hormonally, I guess I have the hormone profile of a 52-year-old. Lucky me, right? So I'm 47, but hormonally, my doctor said I'm more like a 52-year-old. I'm just kind of ahead of my time. What a delightful thing. She's like, I know you're 47, but really your body thinks it's 52. And I'm like, honestly, I feel 82. So 52 sounds real good, right? Anyway, look at us. We're all a lot of us are in the same age bracket. So anyway, I'm right there ahead of you, or slightly ahead of you. More evolved, maybe. It's not really the way you want to be evolved. So Champaka is the other threshold from mother to crone. Champaka is wisdom and sovereignty. Champaka is knowing your worth, right? Don't you feel? I mean, I feel it as I'm at the beginning of my crone phase. It's like I feel like I know my worth now. When I was younger, when I was in that maiden and mother phase, I feel like my worth was dictated by what other people thought or what I could do at work or by having kids or my worth was defined by something outside of me, right? If I was a good employee, then I was a good person. If I was a good mom, then I was a good person. If I was a good wife, then I was a good person. Now I feel like if I'm a good person, I'm a good person. And it really doesn't matter whether I have kids or I'm a good wife or I do a good job at work or whatever. My worth has nothing to do with those things, right? So anyway, birch tar is about coming into your power, I think. And by the way, I don't think of this as being masculine, feminine, male, female, nothing like that, because these phases apply to those who identify as male too, because remember, men go through the three cycles, the three phases as well, energetically, hormonally, everything. And in some ways, I think I feel for men because the terms are not as codified, right? Like everybody hears maiden, mother, crone, and they're like, oh, okay. But there really is it's the wizard and the father, the wizard, and what's the younger phase for men? Is it the warrior, the father, the wizard, or something? There's three phases for men too. So these oils apply the same way. It's like, I think for men as well, in your 20s and 30s, it's like you're defined by what you do, what you have, what kind of car you drive, what kind of job you have, whether you're in a relationship or not. And then I think as you head towards your 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you realize actually none of those things matter. You know what I mean? Like they don't matter at all. They're not a defining, aspect of who you are as a person, right? Interesting, right? Yeah, maybe it's the hunter. The hunter, the father, the wizard, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Is it the knight, the father, the wizard? Thank you, Sheila, for that. That makes sense to me too. The knight, the father, the wizard. I like hunter too, though, kind of, like after things, like looking hunting. So, Interesting. Katie was saying that she learned her worth very young, and so she never defined herself by things outside of her. And I think that's really beautiful. That must be a testimony, honestly, to the ones who raised you, because I think ultimately we learn how to understand our worth by how our role models determine their worth, right? And in my family, there was a lot of like what people thought of us mattered kind of thing. And I guess it matters to everybody. But I'm learning how to have it matter less and trying to pass that on to my kids too. And we'll see how it works or doesn't work, right? Okay. So you have your birch tar, which is your initiation, mothering, crossing that threshold. You have your champaka, which is about your worth, sovereignty, power, and having all of that defined within you. So I think those are two important notes. Lavender is for harmony and peace. Right, so I put that in there because lavender, especially now, is important, right? It's very interesting, isn't it? And then you have your tangerine, which is joy. I put that in there because tangerine is happiness, and it's lighthearted, and it's a little frivolous actually. It's like effervescent and youthful and playful. So I thought joy would be good to have, sovereignty would be good to have, peace would be good to have, your birch tar, obviously. And then white pepper is purifying. It's purification, protection. White pepper is also for transmutation. It takes what's dark and heavy and makes it light and easy. So, so that's the last one. So we talked about the birch tar, the olive oil. Olive oil is an offering to the gods. Remember that Athena, not me, but the goddess, Athena, was the one who really made the olive tree sacred in Athens. And so it's considered an oil of wisdom. It's considered an oil that is an offering to the gods on Mount Olympus. It raises your vibration. That's why I love cooking with it. It also raises the vibration of anything that you work with it. So it raises the vibration of the vegetables that you cook with it, or the sauce that you make with it, or whatever. So whether you're consuming it internally or whether you are using it topically, those are the properties of olive oil. White pepper, I'm not considering a base note. White pepper, I'm considering what did I list it as? A heart note, I think? Yeah, I'm considering white pepper a heart note. And tangerine. Champaka is also a heart note. Tangerine and lavender are your top notes, and then your birch tar is your base. I cook mostly with olive oil. I sometimes cook with other oils, depending on the recipe. I like to cook Indian food, and I like to cook Asian food, like Thai food. So sometimes you have to work with other oils because the olive oil just doesn't, it doesn't work as well with some of those alternative cuisines. It's really a great vibration. Okay, so we're going to start with our birch tar. You always start with your base note. And I will tell you, you received a little bag of chipstones, by the way, with your tools this month. And everybody got different stones. My little bag had a few pieces of morganite in it. So if you would like, actually we can start with the stone in the bottom of the bottle. I'm going to grab a little shard or two of morganite. Morganite is this rough, peachy pink crystal. That is Pink Barrel, if you know my song. And it's a stone of sovereignty and love. So I'm going to add 2 pieces of morganite to my bottle. For that energy. And there's a little tiny chipstone of aquamarine too for emotional healing. That would be nice. So any stones in your little packet that align to your intention. Ooh, there's a pink opal in there too. That's transformation and love. The pink is either morganite or it's pink opal, because those are the 2 types of chipstones that I have at SG. Yeah. So, and if you have other stones you want to add, that's okay too. There's a lot of little fun bits and pieces in there. And again, keep this, don't get rid of this, because the rest of the stones, you should have a little craft jar with your little bits and bobs, because if you ever make, arts and crafts, or if you make a wand, the wand I made, I ended up using a lot of little tiny bits and pieces of crystals all the way around it. So always keep your extra little chip stones, because they come in handy more often than you would think. Okay, so we're going to start with our birch tar, and I'm going to tell you something. You're doing it for the energy, right? So birch tar can be overpowering in a perfume. So I'm going to start with about 5 drops. You can always add more. Perfuming is just like cooking in the sense that you can always add more. You can't take it away. The blue stones are probably either dumortierite or aquamarine. If it's light blue, it's dumortierite, or if it's light blue, it's aquamarine. If it's dark blue, it's dumortierite. That's cool. You have the perfect jars for it. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to start with 5 drops of birch tar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'll do a little bit more, tiny bit more. That's 8 drops. And again, you can use the dropper of your bottle to do this. It's totally fine, especially since your dropper you're probably using some common ingredients. So, is it aquamarine? Okay, cool. Okay. And then, so I'm using all of the oils. The next one I'm going to add is the white pepper. Remember, this is transmutation, illumination, protection, also purification with... do 5 drops of the white pepper too. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more. That's 10. That's good. I want it to shift the scent of the birch. I'm going to do 2 more drops. That's perfect. I can smell the white pepper over the birch, which was what I wanted. Okay. Learn from me. Always put your caps back on your bottles as you go. Oh my gosh, Morganite engagement ring. If I had it to do all over again, Morganite's amazing as an engagement stone. When I got engaged though, 20 years ago, it wasn't as popular, People were still doing diamonds. But now on Etsy, there's so many cool artists doing Morganite engagement rings. They're so pretty. And Morganite's good on the measure of hardness scale. It's strong, you can wear it every day. I don't think so, Brittany James. If you don't have white pepper, maybe a frankincense. I'm trying to think of what would have the same kind of properties, because you want the purification properties. So frankincense would be a good alternative if you have frankincense. And any of the frankincense would be fine. I mean, there's 20 different varieties of frankincense. So whichever one you have. I have favorites, but they're all good. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my lavender. So we've done our, with our champaka, because we've done our base note, and now you want to do your heart note. Remember, you build fragrance, a good fragrance, you build from the bottom up, not from the top down. Because if you build it from the top down, you'll never really fully build a base. Carol spilled her champaka on her computer. Your computer's going to smell real good for a while. Woo! How come Carol's office smells so good? I don't know. don't know what she's doing in there. She making cute butt serum? Okay, Champaka is my favorite. And this Champaka is pure essential oil. It cost me an arm and a damn leg to put this in your kit. And it is exactly what the flowers on my tree smell like. So there is no difference. Sometimes EO smells different than like the flower on the tree. This doesn't. Zoe smelled it earlier and she's like, it's like when the tree is in bloom. And I'm like, I know. It's so good. Okay, so I'm going to be generous with this. I'm going to do probably 20 drops. Which I still have a ton left. That is shaping up nicely. If you're doing it along with me, are you seeing what's happening to that birch and that pepper? Do you see it? It starts to shift on you. It doesn't have, it completely changes it. Do you smell it? I might actually I'm going to put the rest of what's in my dropper, I think. Let me try 10 more drops. That's good, because I don't want to not smell the birch and the pepper, and if I put any more Champaka than that, I'm not going to smell them. It's getting softer. Do you notice? And actually, this is why I really wanted you to give the birch tar and the white pepper a try, because they can surprise you, especially when you use a powerful heart note. The smoke is still coming out of my bottle, which is pretty good. Is it really, Saya? I bet it is. And it's super clear here because, we've got like 0 humidity right now because our whole state's on fire. My favorite restaurant where we celebrated my birthday like 5 years ago burned down last night. Meadowwood in Napa. Oof. I cried today when I found out that restaurant burned down. It was a really sweet memory for me and Dave. When I texted him, I'm like, dude, Meadowwood burned down. He was like, oh my God. And that's in the heart of St. Helena, where like all the wineries are, really praying for Napa. I'm a wine lover. And my best friend from high school, her parents own Dariouche Winery. Her aunt is actually my next door neighbor here in LA. And last year, 2 years ago, their winery almost burned down. So I keep checking the news and checking her Facebook to make sure everything's okay. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the lavender next. So we're moving into our top notes now, because your carrier will be a heart note too. So let's go in with 10 drops. Isn't that sad? I know. 10 drops of lavender. Check it at 5, okay? Let's just check it at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oof. No more lavender. For me, that's it. Because now, notice how the lavender sharpened that, right? So it went from being really kind of sharp and heavy at the base with that. You sold the Dariouche home in PV? But they didn't sell it. I thought they did not sell that house. Are you talking about I'll have to talk about that offline. I'm like, Sally's parents tried to sell their house. Their house is up the street from me. And it didn't sell. I don't know. We can talk about it. Now, the birch tar and the white pepper was like heavy and sharp. And then we took the Champaka and we layered it on and we made it kind of soft, right? But then it got kind of round, right? So when you put the lavender on top, do you notice how it pulls it up? That's why I was telling you about those top notes. They will pull a wide, round fragrance. They will pull it up and sharpen it. If you want more lavender, you can add that. So Camellia, are you doing more? I might do like one more drop. Let's see. I'll do 1 or 2. just to see. This is why you do 1 drop at a time. Yeah, any more than that, it's going to become a lavender perfume, and I don't want that. I like lavender in a perfume. I don't like lavender on its own. I'm one of those people, like, I like it, but I don't love it. I want to hear all about it, Rochelle. I don't, Aurea. Some people do. Some people clean their pipette between with rubbing alcohol, or they'll use a different pipette for every oil. I am not that person. You know what I mean? So, but it's up to you. If you want to clean it in between with rubbing alcohol and make sure that one oil doesn't touch the other oil or anything like that, I'm cool with that. But I'm a little bit of a messy cook. And I'm also really low maintenance. But hardcore perfumers will use a different pipette for every oil or clean it with rubbing alcohol in between every oil. And that's okay too. Woo. No, it's awesome. And what's kind of nice, Camellia, is you get to watch and see the whole thing and maybe hear us talk about, oh, try this, don't do that. And so by the time you go and do it, you're going to have all of your, everything together exactly the way you need it. Did it? Is it good with frankincense though? Yeah, you can wipe it off, but rubbing alcohol really does work. So if you want to be like Tiderman about this, if you have some rubbing alcohol and you rinse out your pipette, so you pull up the alcohol and rinse it out and then go into the next oil, it will keep the whole thing clean each time. Up to you. Now the last one, I always do my sweetest top note last. Save the sweetest for last. Is it beautiful with frankincense? I would love that. Oh, that's fun, Vanya. I didn't know that. She said they have very small pipettes at Amazon if you want to switch in between. Now we're going to get fancy with the pipettes. I have many pipettes. Fancy. Okay. I used some of my tangerine before in my booty serum, so now I gotta make this last. So I'm gonna go in with 10 drops. I'm gonna stop at 5 and check it. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it needs more. That was another 6, so it's 11 drops total. It's sweetening it exactly enough. Ooh, they're tiny, tiny. I'm excited. I want mini pipettes. I don't have many pipettes. I feel like it's a whole new day for me now. I did another 5. That's pretty lovely. Now, then what you have to do, instead of birch tar, you could, it's hard to say, a base note that's mothering and for initiation. The birch tar is the one I'm having trouble giving you an alternative for. Juniper, maybe? Maybe? I would say rose, but rose is a heart note. Juniper, maybe. I did a total of 15 of the tangerine. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. What you do now is you go back to every oil you used, one by one, not with your pipette, with the bottles. This is what I do. This is my technique. So you see if it works for you. Okay. I know we're over time, but we're almost done. And you hold up your bottle. You smell your perfume. And you hold up each note. Does it need more birch? No. It would not smell good with more birch. So I'm all done with my birch. Then I bring my white pepper. Your bottle should have held about 20 drops of champaka total, I think. Okay, now white pepper. I actually do want a little bit more white pepper. So I'm going to go in and And I'm going to add about 5 more drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to test it. It needed a little bit more of that white pepper. Did you need more too? It's interesting, right? Birch tar smells like barbecue. I love it. I'm hungry too. It's dinner time. Okay. Does it need more champaka? Need coffee beans. You know, a couple more drops of champaka would be good. Not too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all it needed. Now, I'm going to get my lavender and see if it needs any more lavender. You in love with champaka? If you try the Monastery skincare line, you're going to fall in love because she has champaka in a couple of her blends. She has champaka in 2, 3, 4, 5. That was good. She has champaka in Flora serum and in the Gold serum. Both have champaka pure, and you can smell it. It's like the top note. Okay, and then I think I might be good with this as it is. There's a little tiny bit left of there's like 1 drop of tangerine left in the bottle. And 2 drops. Okay, now, before you add carrier oil, 1, 2, 3. Before you add any carrier oil. Yeah, you should see if Athena has a sample pack. I don't know if she does. She's super nice though, if you reach out to her and ask her. Okay. And then test it on your skin. Now this smells heavenly to me. Like, can you believe that's a birch tar perfume? I can hardly, what you've done is you've harvested the best of birch tar, right? Which is it sharpens, it brings you the energy, the properties of it. It's giving you a good base for your it's what it's going to dry down to. But the other notes have really transformed I mean, at least I think, any of the things about birch tar that you might not have liked. Some of the acidity of it, the astringent nature of it, right? It's pretty, isn't it? Okay, so if you are happy with your perfume, then we add carrier oil. You never add carrier oil to a perfume until your EO blend is right. Because if it doesn't smell good now, it's not going to smell good later. This is ultimately the foundation of your perfume. Does that make sense? So no carrier oil. I cringe. I went to a perfuming class, and this was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Because whenever people offer them, I just go. I'm always like, I could learn something. And the woman started by blending the carrier oil first. This is like actually, I think this was when I was in San Francisco. So this must have been more like 7 years ago. She started oil first. I was like, I just wanted to leave. I was like, there's no way. You can't make a good perfume if you start with your carrier oil. And you can use jojoba instead of oil or instead of olive if you don't love the olive oil. Okay, now you can go in with your carrier oil. I'm going to put my readers on, sorry, but my vision is just not where it needs to be. Oh, I don't have glasses up here anymore. Oh, poop. Hope I don't spill it all over myself. I'm at that age where I now have readers in every room. Dave laughs at me. He's like, did you get your readers, Ma? I'm like, yep, Pa, I got my readers. Go ahead and laugh, little guy. You'll be there in just a couple of years, cutie. That's what he gets for marrying an older woman. Okay, so I had enough, because I made my booty serum, I only had enough to fill my bottle up halfway. But I have some EVOO in my kitchen. So I will, and then one more time, three times, up, down. That's enough to blend it. Don't shake your perfume. You don't need to do that. You just gently want to introduce the oils to each other, is the way my teacher used to say it. We're introducing the oils to each other. They're deciding if they want to be together forever or not. And you'll see, even just with gentle turns, it's enough to mix the oils and get them to be in sync with each other. And then smell it one more time. That is a good perfume. So, the best carrier oil of them all is jojoba, and I'll tell you why. And this is also credit to my mom. Jojoba has an indefinite shelf life. Your Sage Goddess perfumes actually get better with age. I have some SG perfumes from the beginning, 9 years old, that smell better today than they did when I blended them, because jojoba has an almost indefinite shelf life. Now, it's the only carrier oil that has an indefinite shelf life. Everything else will go rancid on you at some point. Olive oil is very stable. So olive oil is fine. You don't have to take too much care of it. Sweet almond will go rancid on you really quick, so I don't use it. Avocado can go rancid on you. Sweet olive or sweet almond, you actually have to keep refrigerated in order to prevent, is it called rancidity? So anyway, you want to be very careful. I don't ever use sweet almond because I don't like to use things quickly, so I don't want to have to use something and worry about it going rancid on me, right? So this is a 17 ml bottle. So that's how much total perfume and carrier oil you need to fill your bottle. So jojoba, here's the magic of jojoba. Jojoba, it has exactly the same texture as the natural oils on your skin. You know when you first get up in the morning and like your face is kind of oily? Do you ever have that experience? That oil called sebum is the same consistency as jojoba. So jojoba will not cause you to break out. Your body recognizes it as its own substance, as its own oil. So that's why it's really good for you. You will know a perfume is rancid as soon as you open that damn bottle and it smells like death and poop. That's how you know your perfume is rancid. It's so good for you. Jojoba is excellent for your skin. It's good for your hair. Olive oil is good too. Avocado is good too. Pomegranate's good too. After that, you start to get into some dicey territory. Hemp is great as a carrier oil, and hemp doesn't really go rancid on you either. I've used hemp for quite a few Sage Goddess perfumes too. So hemp's a really nice one. Sweet almond will go bad on you, so check your sweet almond. I didn't know how else to describe it, Saya. One of my friends in college used to, when something smelled bad, he would say it smelled like poop and potato chips. That was his thing. It smells like poop and potato chips in here. I was always like, that's terrible. I don't know what that is. So I recommend the olive oil for this perfume, but you can use jojoba if you prefer. And so now I will top mine off when I'm done with you this evening, but I'm going to take some now, and I would love to encourage you to do the same. And I'm going to put a little bit in my wrist for what I do, a little bit at my third eye for what I know, and a touch at my ankles for where I go. And Zoe loves Champaka so much, she will be following me around all night. Is that Champaka? Is that Champaka? Is that Champaka? Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, the carrier oil conversation is a really important one because a lot of people don't know it. And if you're going to be making perfumes, I mean, again, EO perfumes are meant to get better with age. In fact, the patchouli that I work with and the labdanum that I work with, they're aged. I shared a sample with Stephen of I mailed it to him, of labdanum that it's either 10 or 15 years. It's been in a oak barrel, aging. And it's, I mean, the difference is it's absolutely magnificent. And patchouli at 10 or 15 years is so much better. It's softer, it's round, it's not sharp. Lavender aged is magnificent. So what I really recommend doing is if you have an essential oil that you love, try to get a decent quantity of it, put it in a really dark bottle, and stick it in the back of your cabinet. Put a date on it and stick it in the back of your cabinet. And leave it there for a decade. You will have the most incredible oil 10 years from now. It'll blow your mind. So, Amy Arabia had a great question earlier on. I just want to come back and answer it. So she was asking, do you let this sit overnight? The answer is yes. It's called curing. So your perfume, you won't really know what it's going to smell like, going forward until tomorrow. 24 to 72 hours it takes to cure a perfume. So at SG, when we make a perfume, we then let it cure and then we bottle it. So it's usually a couple of day process between the formation of your perfume, the ultimate blending of your perfume with the carrier oil, the curing process, which allows all of the ingredients to kind of blend and dance and make their own alchemy together, and then the bottling process after that. Did you enjoy it? I'm so glad. It is kind of like canning. This is very much like cooking. So if you enjoy cooking, perfuming is going to be like secondhand for you. And you've got a good nose already, because a good cook has a good nose. Do you like it? It's beautiful. And so, but the biggest thing I want to teach you tonight is that if you know this, then you can take any oil and transform it. As long as you know where it's landing, whether it's a note de fond, a foundational note, a note de coeur, which is the heart note, or a note de tête, which is the head note, as long as you know whether it's base, heart, or head, then you'll know how they need to dance and work with each other. If I'd given you all top notes, you would not love this perfume right now, because it wouldn't have any dimension to it. A perfume with dimension is composed of multiple notes that cross the spectrum and ultimately have to have some balance to it. So to top it off, I would use extra virgin olive oil. Just the nicest one you have in your kitchen will be fine. You don't have to overthink this too much. So the sari ribbon, oh, it's right here. I don't know if you remember the old days of SG. But I always tied a sari ribbon around my perfume bottles. I had a technique that I just did that allowed the ribbons to lay nicely. And then I'm going to redo mine later because I have to fill my bottle. And then I would take the two pieces down the side and cut them right there, right at the bottom of the bottle. And so we gave you the sari ribbon so that it was like original SG. And then you have a label when you're done, that you can write the name of your perfume if you want to name it, and it fits perfectly on the front of the bottle. And I tried to give you a sari ribbon that kind of coordinated with the color of the label too. Isn't it beautiful? Do you love it? I'm hoping that you love this perfume so much, and especially because you made it. You know what I mean? And what's really cool is each one of us, even though we were using the same ingredients, and maybe you even did the exact same number of drops as I did, yours may still smell slightly different than mine. And on your body, it might smell completely different because you have your own pheromones that are different than my pheromones. Isn't it pretty? So anyway, I want to know what you name it. I want to know how you like it. I want to know what formula you used. If you did, tweaks to it and used other oils, I'd love to know all about that. For me, this is a very it feels like a spirit mother, or there's a maternal energy to the notes in this perfume, but it's divine. It's like the divine mother, I guess is what I would call mine. I'm not done with it yet, so I will label it afterward. But divine mother feels right. If you think about it, because it's peace, it's rebirth, it's initiation, it's purification, it's joy, and it's sovereignty. Or divine love, or unconditional, or sovereign, or any of those, I think. I mean, at least as far as I'm thinking, and the properties of the oils, Divine Mother kind of comes the close. Shekinah is beautiful too, which is sort of the essence of the divine feminine, right? Are you going to give yours to your mom, Lisa? It's so beautiful. I will try to offer you more of the 1/3 drams of Champaka. Let me check my inventory, because it's hard for us to get it right now during the quarantine. So let me see if we can, Alexis and I will look into that and see if we can maybe just bottle. There's no way I could have enough to bring it to like the general website for people to buy, but let me see if there's at least enough so that we could do a few dozen of the little tiny drams of the Champaka if you want to refill. Oh, Demeter's Love. That is wonderful, Michelle Nacello. I really love that. I'm so glad. And Deanna said she has more clarity about making perfume, which I love too. Palo Santo. Unconditional is wonderful too. And Sandy's going to go home and do this now, so I'm very excited. Okay, I'm so glad you liked it. Well, you know what that tells me? Because I'm designing next year's programs right now. What that tells me is we do need to keep, I mean, show of hands. Do you want perfuming in next year's programs? Because we've really been talking about, like, do we take it out completely? Like, do people really love making perfume? Is that something core to what we do? We've always done it. And the reason is, you know, it wasn't my last ayahuasca journey, but it was like 2 ayahuasca journeys before that. She was like, you always have to have perfume in your classes because it's how your students experience you in a smell. Like, it's what connects you guys across space and time. Okay, well, that's good to know. Alexis, that's good heads up for us because we've been talking about not doing it. So that tells me it has to be part of the situation. You want to be certified in it? Well, that's what I was thinking. You know, if we did a Miraphor program, then I could certify you as Miraphors next year. That's a little feather in your cap. Wouldn't that be fun to do, like, official Miraphor training? I kind of like the idea. Okay. The balms are trickier because we'd have to be in front of a cooktop, you know, because the balms are cooked, right? You ultimately have to blend jojoba and beeswax and then mix the oils and then pour and then set and all of that. It's a little more complicated. I'm glad. Was it different than other perfuming classes that we've had for you? Yeah, well, and it's a little more intimate. I kind of like the format and the structure a little bit, although I have to say I've enjoyed the classes more being at home in general than I did when I was at the office. I liked teaching at the office, but I've really enjoyed teaching you from home. So, well, we could do like some, you know, we could do bath salts, we could do a scrub, we could do a lotion, we could do a couple different things. So, yeah, why not? Okay, cool. Pretty pleased with Champaka on top. Michelle Miller, I like that. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad because I do feel tonight too that I had a chance, I think, to answer most of your questions, which makes me happy too. I don't like it when I'm, you know, I'm doing things and there are questions and I can't get to them, and so I kind of feel like I was able to answer most of the questions that I saw in the feed, which is kind of cool too. Because I do want you guys to walk away feeling, you know what? I know how to make perfume now. I kind of know which things go in which category. I know what step 1, 2, 3, essential oils before carrier oils, clear the bottle, right? Blend it, check halfway. Like, you kind of have a methodology, and I feel like we got to really do it in a measured way. So cool. I'm very, very happy, and I'm happy that you're happy. Okay. Yeah, so even Kimberly Kaiser, you are right. Even after a few minutes, you're going to notice it's going to intensify. So again, check it tomorrow and see if you want to tweak it one more time before you label it and everything, if you haven't done that yet. You may still find, oh, it needs a little more lavender, it needs a little more of this. You're going to feel like a pro. And I love it. Yeah, Rochelle added lemon, and she said it's amazing. I might play with that a little bit too. I'm going to add orange and lemon to my cute butt serum because the citrus is really good for that. But honestly, all you need is the birch tar and the tangerine. And I'm telling you, her $35 or $40 cellulite blend that she had is exactly what you have tonight. So you're able to make a couple different products, which is really fun. And you smell good too. Well, with that, session 4 of Soul Shift and the month of September in our work together is complete. It is complete. Now, tomorrow is the full moon. So, like I said, only if you want, but a lot of you have been enjoying them. Make sure you get your worksheet from sagegoddess.com. This is free. So it's on the website. You just download it and print it. I'm going to be live with you starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow night for the Aries full moon. It's a butt kicker full moon. Buckle up. It's a lot of energy that we're moving tonight. I had an absolute blast with you tonight. I really did. And like I said, Alexis will give you all the notes. You don't have to worry about a thing. Everything will be in the notes, and we'll make sure you get this graphic too. So you'll have everything that we did tonight. and then I get to see you again one more time tomorrow. So take good care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you for being there tonight. Thank you for being there for the whole month of September. We've got big work ahead of us in October. I'm ready if you are. And I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Have a great evening, and thank you, Alexis, as always, for